Hey there, it's Lenny McGill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop right here in the beautiful Nashville studios today, and we're going to talk about adding extra rounds to your magazine. That would be 5 extra rounds of 9mm or 4 extra rounds of 40 caliber to your standard Glock 17, Glock 19, Glock 26 magazines. And it's done with our double diamond plus extensions. And basically, here's what you get in the package. You get the actual extension body. You can see it's available in different colors. I've got a couple other ones here. We've got, of course, the gold and black and blue and, of course, red and a couple other colors, I believe, too. And they can be custom Cerakoted for you, too, if you have a concept in mind. These are aluminum, and it comes with a base plate, which also can be interchangeable for different colors. I'll show you that in a little bit. But right now, it also comes with the extended power spring. And you'll notice now when you count these coils, starting right here, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so it's an extra power concept because a normal 17 spring has 10 coils. So those extra coils are going to help power those extra 5 rounds of Glock 19, or Glock 9mm, excuse me. It also comes with 2 screws, and I'll show you how these all work. But we're going to take our standard Glock 17 magazine, and we're going to remove the base plate, remove the spring, detach the follower, install the follower on this spring, and then reinstall. And at the end of the process here, I will show you that we are going to add 5 extra rounds of 9mm without really making it too bulky, and something that you really want to consider because, more rounds are better. Now, first step we got to do is remove the standard Glock base plate on this Glock 17 magazine. All right, this is a Gen 5 magazine. It's got an orange follower. So, but keep in mind, here's what some people get confused or don't really know, that the magazines Glock has made over the course of their entire career of 30, 35 years plus of making guns. All the magazines are really cross-compatible with all the different generations. So if you have a Gen 1 Glock, that magazine will fit and function in your Gen 5 Glock, and vice versa. The Gen 5 will fit and function in the Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. Typically, most people out there watching this are going to have a Gen 3 Glock or a Gen 4 Glock or a Gen 5 Glock, and people always ask, well, will the Gen 4 magazines, Gen 3 magazines fit in my Gen 5? Or will the Gen 5 magazines fit in my Gen 3? The answer is yes. A lot of people like the Gen 5 magazines because they have the orange follower, and they have a little lip here on the base plate that helps facilitate pulling the magazine out should you need to, or so it gets stuck or something like that. That's one of the upgrades of the Gen 5. I like the Gen 5 because they have that orange follower. It's kind of nice to kind of see from a distance that, okay, there's that orange follower. I know the gun is empty. I know the magazine's empty at least. All right. To remove the base plate, a couple ways you can do this. There is a small hole in the bottom of the base plate with a little post in it, and that post is attached to the insert plate that's pushed down by the actual magazine spring. We have to push that post down and push off the base plate. The first or second time you do this, it's a little rough. It's hard because it's kind of new plastic, and it's kind of stuck on there a little bit, so it does take a little effort. Now, you can do it with a punch, okay, and kind of muscle it off. And I will tell you that it does take some muscle. So you can take your punch and you can stick it inside there and push it off. And I typically, when I suggest if you try that, is you don't want to do it out here unless you're super strong. You want to get your shoulders up on top of it and kind of push it off. But you want to be very, very careful because, I've actually slipped out of here and scored my finger one time with the punch. So always be aware that, it does take a lot of effort. The other way you can do it is you can actually come up with a way to kind of squeeze these sides, say with some vice grips or something like that. But then you have a potential to damage your actual magazine because the magazine is captured on here not only by that little post, but there's also 2 little tabs here that capture the base plate onto the magazine body. But we have a tool that makes it really easy. It's called our MDT. It's a magazine disassembly tool. It's really simple. It's got a little post here, and we're going to stick that right into that hole, and then we're going to just pop that off like a kind of a can opener type concept. So you stick it in there, boom. Now, I want to be careful not to pull it off all the way because that magazine will go flying across the room. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop it, all right? So I got it attached. It does take a little effort, so if I can just think about now using the fulcrum package or fulcrum effort, and I'm just going to push down. And there it is. Now I have broken the seal, basically, of the new base plate on the new magazine body because it is tough, or it's tight the first time. If you look inside there, you will see that little insert plate, and it's captured still by the base plate. So I want to make sure that I put my thumb over top of that as I push off and keep my thumb in place. And once I pull the base plate off, boom, I still am capturing that insert plate. Otherwise, it'll go bang, fly across the room, and I may find it next year. But the magazine won't work in this configuration without it. And there is the insert plate. And there's the post I was talking about. This would be called the base plate. This is a Gen 5 base plate. Now, keep in mind, the base plates themselves are also interchangeable. So I could put a Gen 3 base plate on this Gen 5 magazine, it would work fine. I could put a Gen 5 base plate on a Gen 3 magazine if I want that extra lip, and it'd be fine. So that's one good thing. The insert plate is the same for both, all right? This is the magazine spring. I'll pull it out, and of course, there's the magazine body. Now, people always ask about how do you clean these? Two things. You can wash them off in soap and water, you can throw it in your dishwasher, you can do all kinds of things to it. But the only thing I want to recommend is make sure it's completely dry when you're done, and no oil. You don't need oil in here because the oil is just going to attract dust and dirt and make it gunky and all that stuff. So they run dry. They do get dusty if you live out in Arizona or California and they drop it on the ground, they get dusty inside. You want to go ahead and take it apart. Like I said, you can rinse it off with some soap and water, just rinse it off some water or whatever, let it dry thoroughly, put the magazine back together. It's pretty simple. But no oil on the spring, no oil anywhere because you don't need it. And it's all it's going to do is attract dust. So, all right, there's the body, insert plate, base plate, magazine, spring, and follower. Take note real quick of how short that magazine spring is compared to the extra power spring you're going to get with this extension. Boom. And again, counting the coils, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 coil is the standard spring on your standard Glock 17 magazine. Now the follower, a lot of people don't know, the follower just actually clicks in place and it kind of snaps into place on top of the actual spring itself. So I will just go ahead and kind of twist it off and it should come off like that, right? So you hear it kind of snap off. So there's the factory spring. Only goes in one way, kind of riding uphill towards the barrel. All right, so that's the way it goes. Does not go like that if the gun is going that way. And it really doesn't go in the other way no matter what. It just won't fit. The follower, like I said, they're orange in the Glock Gen 5 mags. I can now snap it in place in the extra power spring. So I'm going to just move these pieces out of the side here because we're not going to use them. And I will snap the follower on. And it kind of will click in place. Let's see if we can hear it. Hear it? So now it's on there, right? So it just clicks in place. It stays there just like that. And again, you can kind of see it just rides uphill. That's how it goes in, with the gun pointing down that way. This is how the spring points as well. This is the magazine body. Now what we want to do is we want to install the magazine body, install the extension onto the magazine body. And to do that, we need to remove the little plastic tabs that you'll find on either side of the magazine body. Here, let's take a look at them. Right here they are. Make sure you're in there close. You can see them. By removing these, that'll allow me to put the aluminum piece onto the body itself. People sometimes are worried about that, but you'll see that it's really not a big deal because the magazine is captured on the body with these screws we talked about a little earlier, wherever they are. Oh, here they are. Okay, and I'll show you how that works. So there's really no reason to worry about that because they will actually capture the magazine base plate extension onto the body without any problems. I'm going to take my little trusty EDC knife and I'm going to go ahead and just score these off. Now, it's really good to use a sharp knife. This is not the sharpest knife in the world, not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm going to just use the knife and I'm going to use a little bit of motion. Now, the key is to move the knife along as you would. And now I've got it down to the base there. And so now I'm going to come up here and just kind of, again, snap it off. And there is my little tab. Pretty simple. It's not a big process. It goes pretty quick. The power of the blade is in the movement of the blade. So don't try to just force it down there. Slide it across. I will tell you a little anecdote. My father once told me that a sharp knife is safer than a dull knife because you don't have to put as much effort into cutting with a sharp knife. When you have a dull knife and you put a whole lot of effort into it, sometimes you slip and you got to be careful of the blade. So keep your hands out of the way, hold on to this thing tightly, and just kind of slide that blade along to the bottom there. So that's basically what I've done. And now I'm going to go up on top and just go ahead and remove it. And there it is. And there's a tab, just those two little tabs. That makes all the difference in the world. Because now it's going to allow my aluminum body to slide onto the magazine. Sometimes it's a little tight, so just go ahead and get on the top of it and just do that. There you go. That's basically it. And there is the first part of the installation. And it's pretty attractive, and it gives you 5 extra rounds. That's even more important. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to, well, we can do a couple things. We can actually install the first screw. Okay, and the first screw allows me to capture the actual mag extension onto the body. This would be the first screw. It goes into the hole first. All right, so I put it into the hole. Okay, and screw it in there. Get it up there. Get this thing set, and you're going to see it's going to poke its head out. And that's what's going to capture the mag base onto the body of the magazine. All right, now it's not going to come off. No matter what I do, it's not going to come off. All right. Next step is to actually take your magazine with the follower installed and placing the magazine spring into the magazine with this kind of motion or this kind of direction. Again, it won't go in this way because it's not going to follow up all the way. So here is how we're going to get it to seat. All right, now I've got it seated, and now what we want to do is we don't need to use the insert plate. So those two items can sit in your bag if you ever want to use those or need those later on. So I've got it basically there. Now I just need to capture the spring with my thumb, place it down, and place the base plate or the base plate of the extension onto it and just capture the spring with it. So the key is to be able to push that spring down far enough so that the base plate captures it, just like that. Pretty simple. Now we take our second spring, or separate screw, and the screws and the Allen wrenches are included, as you saw in the package. And now we're going to go ahead and attach the base to the extension just by screwing that in. And that, my friends, is basically it. Kaboosh. So now we have a +5 onto my gun. Now here's what it looks like onto my Glock 17 magazine. Boom. This happens to be that sniper gray, kind of a rare Glock, should I say. But there you go. That's what it looks like. And you can see it easily fits. It allows you to get 22 rounds into your 17 magazine. So I'm going to demonstrate that real quickly, just so you know that it actually works. If you don't have a Lula loader, you should have one, because these things are going to make loading a lot easier. Basically, the flat side goes on the flat side. I like to personally can manage about 10 rounds in my hands at a time without getting sloppy. So I get 10 rounds there, and I will do the first 10. They go pretty fast with a Lula loader. And the nice thing about the loader is that it doesn't tear your fingers apart. You can do it here on a table like such, or you can do it up on your body if you're out in the range. Oops, I messed that one up. If you're out in the range, you can actually just do it against your body, like so. And there's the first 10, and I'll do 10 more. Okay, so this will be 20. So right here is going to be 17 real quickly. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's your normal capacity right there, 17. Boom. Now here's where the magazine extension kicks in. So there's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and maybe a third. Nope, that's about it. So there's my +5, just like that. It's quick, it's easy, it's effective, it does work. Anybody in shooting competition knows that it's nice to have extra rounds because you don't have to reload as much. But just going out and shooting, plinking and having fun shooting, it's a lot easier to shoot 22 versus 17 reload. But at the end of the day, you have to have one of these, the Lula loader, because it makes loading a lot easier. And that is our Glock 17 plus extension. +5 extension. Now they're available for Glock 19s, 23s as well, Glock 26, 27, 33 of course. Also we have them now for the 20 and 21. So if you're looking to add extra rounds, have more fun shooting, make it easier, first of all, get yourself a Lula loader, and second of all, consider these plus extensions. They're really neat. Now, the other thing you can do, which really is cool, and somehow to identify your particular magazines out there, is you can actually interchange your base plates. So you can do red and black or black and red. It's a pretty cool little feature. We do sell the base plates separately as well. I failed to mention, and people ask all the time, they say, well, okay, so your +5, +4 magazine extensions, 5 for 9mm, 4 for 40 caliber, do they fit with magwells? And yes, we have designed them to fit with all of our magwells. This is our big mouth magwell on a Glock 17. And here is our EDC magwell on a Glock 45. And of course they fit because we make both these parts right here in the USA, here in Nashville. So we do design them so they will fit. And keep in mind too that you can mix and match your base plates. This is a black with red. This is red of course. But you can mix and match your base plates so you can identify your magazines on the range, and they kind of look cool as well. So I'm Lenny McGill. This of course is the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop. If you are looking to increase magazine capacity, to make your Glock better, to add custom parts, to customize your Glock, to add an optic, just about anything you want to do on your Glock, this is the GlockStore, and this is what we do. We're here in Nashville, real close to the airport, literally 2 miles away. I was just outside getting a magazine for this demonstration. I saw a guy with his luggage because he came to the store before he went to the airport, and an Uber was picking him up because, that's really convenient. So if you're coming into Nashville, it's a great city, either stop in on the way in or stop in on the way out. Like I said, it's on the way to the airport, 2 miles away from the airport. Love to see you. Love to show you the retail showroom. If you have time, you can shoot too, because our shooting rooms are not lanes, they're shooting rooms. You can do all kinds of fun stuff. And of course, you can buy any of the cool accessories or even try any of the cool accessories that we're showing here on the videos. Lots of videos to come. Please subscribe, be part of the action. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.